Welcome to the Michigan Guild this morning. I'm really happy to be here. Mary Strope has done a wonderful job getting you all together, and it's really a pleasure to come out and talk to you today. My business is the Buyers Markets of American Crafts. It was started in 1982 by a bunch of artists who contacted me and said that they needed some way to meet their buyers. Would I find a way to do that? And my suggestion was to them, why don't you just have a hospitality suite and invite retailers to come visit you in a hotel? And they said to me, what's a hospitality suite? And I knew right there that they needed some help. So I put together a room very similar to this one, only it had hideous carpeting. Very similar to this with breakout walls so that 10 or 12 or 15 people could get together and exhibit in a hospitality suite and invite their buyers. That little hospitality suite concept within 3 weeks turned into 88 exhibitors. And the show has grown to 1,250 exhibitors in Philadelphia, that one show. There are now 3 shows across the country. There's Philadelphia, Boston, and San Francisco. The show attracts buyers from mom and pop little resort boutiques all the way up to the top 7 Japanese department stores. The big show is held in February. It will, in 1995, probably double in size, adding some more components, adding a fine art component, and adding a traditional craft component, which we have never sectioned off into a separate section. It is not a juried show. We select people first based on business criteria. And then we look at slides to prevent duplication and to find more unique work that we are needing in the show. Spaces are filled one by one in certain categories. The show is divided up in media. There are 350 jewelers in Hall A, 250 glass blowers in Hall B, 300 potters in Hall C, and on and on and on and on. We do not separate wood from sculptural metal. We have a few sections of the show that are specialty areas. One of them is outdoors. Another one is kids' stuff. Okay? The retailers that attend understand when they walk in the door that you are there to do wholesale-only business, that you are not interested today in doing a retail fair, that you are not interested today in anything other than serving them as wholesale buyers. And this is what sets our show aside from any other show in the country that would also have retail dates. The buyers are secure in the knowledge that you have a priority, and that priority right now is wholesale. And you are willing to put the money and the time and the effort on the line to wholesale your work to them. We guarantee to our retailers that there is a level of service that is maintained, and that every artist will ship and deliver according to the agreement specified on the terms of the purchase order. That, of course, is not always the case, but what we ask is that in cases where a delay happens, that you notify your buyer and there's good communication and you explain why you got to be late with the order. For many of you who have never dealt with department stores, you will find that you are penalized if you ship an order late. They deduct something from the bill. So being on time is very important. A late shipment means an empty shelf. There is no other way to put it. Craft suppliers, before we came into the show promotion business, were viewed by shops and galleries as being unreliable suppliers, people who did not always ship and deliver on time, communicate effectively, or know how to write out an invoice properly and do proper follow-up. That is no longer the case. Macintosh and small IBM computers have made small business a reality and allowed us to provide the same amount of service that a large manufacturer could provide any retailer. The rest of the world operates in two worlds of selling, basically. They operate in the trade show world, and then they operate in the store visit, road representative world. And today we're not going to talk about road reps as a rule. The costs of travel and other elements in the road rep business make it unaffordable for many craftspeople to consider road reps as a viable way of selling their work. Road reps collect 15% commission from the sale of your work, and unless you can promise them large volume and give them the opportunity to sell in large volume, they can't make you a priority in their lives. And the person selling your work has to be committed to doing so. And the best person ends up being you yourself. Retailers in the 70s and the 80s ordered from manufacturers and road reps and distributors, and people would say, "I'll have that to you in 2 weeks." Or, "The boat will be in at the dock in New York Harbor in 6 or 8 weeks, and it'll take us another 2 weeks to do the inventory, and then you can have the merchandise." And retailers found that when they had problems with their invoices or problems with their deliveries, that they could call on an 800 number and talk to Mattel and get a nice little secretary who made $15,000, or at the time probably $8,000 or $10,000 a year, who knew nothing whatsoever and really couldn't solve a problem. Solve a problem with a product or solve a problem with service. And small retailers very quickly found that it was a wonderful experience to deal with a small supplier. When they call your studio, who answers the phone? Chances are it's you. If it isn't you, the retailer can still say, "Can I ask for Joe? Can I ask for Joanne?" and get you within a couple of moments, in most cases. That's where our show really strives to make it work. We select exhibitors who you can call, who are not on the road all the time doing all retail shows, who are not on the road all the time doing all wholesale trade shows, but we did I say retailers? We select artists who are extremely interested in service and interested in being in the studio when that call comes from a retailer and the retailer needs to talk to them. The communication that you have with a retailer allows you the opportunity to do test marketing, to find out what the retailer's needs are. Do they need that mug to be a $10 mug instead of a $12 mug, and what can you do to modify that mug in order to make it a $10 mug instead of a $12 mug? What are the colors that are selling? The retailer needs you to give them advice. Please do not think that a retailer knows automatically what's going to sell in their store. We all have been into stores where 50% markdowns are happening, and if you want that to happen with your merchandise, fine. But if you don't want it to happen with your merchandise, play a very active role in making sure that the retailer gets what the retailer needs.